Today, we're opening an investigative case file on a really troubling incident out of Uttar Pradesh. It's a story that starts with a missing child and ends with a discovery so grim it makes you ask some really tough questions. Questions about duty, about responsibility, and about those crucial moments that can literally mean the difference between life and death.
So this all takes place in Lakhimpur, Kheri, a district in the state of Uttar Pradesh. It's right here, in a small village, that one family's entire world was just completely shattered.
It all kicked off on what should have been a totally ordinary day. A 13-year-old girl was just walking home from school. A trip she'd made who knows how many times before. But this time, she never made it home.
The frantic search, all that desperate hope that she'd be found safe, it all came to an end in the most brutal way you can imagine. Her body was discovered, left in a sugarcane field.
And the details of that discovery, well, they're incredibly difficult to hear. According to the reports, it was villagers who stumbled upon her the next morning. The sources describe her body as mutilated. The initial evidence suggested she was beaten to death, and there were even horrific reports that her eyes had been scooped out.
A discovery that, horrible, immediately makes you ask, right? What happened in those critical hours between when she first went missing and when her body was found? And this is where the story shifts from a terrible tragedy to a case study in what the family calls a complete institutional failure. Let's just walk through the timeline. The afternoon she goes missing, her parents are, of course, frantic. That very same night, they go to the police to report their daughter is gone. But according to the family, their pleas just fell on deaf ears. They say the police did not register their complaint. It was only the next morning, after villagers found the body and called them, that the police finally arrived, recovered the body, and an official complaint was filed.
For the family, this is the number that matters, 2. They say their daughter was missing for 2 days. 2 days where they believe a vital window to save her was just lost.
And this leads us to the mother's absolutely devastating accusation. It's a statement that really sits at the heart of this entire case. She said, quote, "Had the police registered her complaint on time, they could have saved the girl." I mean, it's such a direct and powerful claim, tying the alleged police inaction directly to her daughter's death.
Okay, so we've heard the family's harrowing account. Now we need to turn to the official investigation. This is where we have to look at what the police eventually did and try to understand the huge disconnect between a family's desperate plea for help and the official response.
Now, the official record shows that once the police were informed by the villagers, they did initiate their standard procedure. They got to the scene, they recovered the body, and sent it for a postmortem. They formed 3 separate investigation teams, and they started questioning people in the area. The superintendent of police for Lakhimpur Kheri, Ganesh Prasad Saha, made a public statement. He said, "We are making all efforts to uncover the truth and people are also being questioned." He also mentioned that the family wasn't naming any specific suspects at that point. So here's where we stand. You've got 2 completely different narratives. On one hand, the family sees a preventable tragedy, a life that they believe could have been saved. But on the other hand, the police describe a formal, by-the-book investigation that started after the discovery. One story is about a crucial window of opportunity being missed, the other is about a process that has now begun. The police statement is all about procedure, while the family's claim points to a massive failure before any of those procedures even started.
So let's just boil this down, because this is the central conflict, right? The family claims their first cry for help was just dismissed. The official police story, though, it only starts after the body was found. There's no mention, no acknowledgement of the family's first attempt to file a report. For the mother, that delay was fatal. But for the official record, it's almost like it never even happened.
In this case file, it leaves us with a question that's so much bigger than just Lakhimpur Kheri. Of course, finding the people who did this is one part of justice. But what about accountability? When a family's very first call for help is allegedly ignored by the people sworn to protect them, what does justice truly look like?